Hi, I'm Collin, and today we're working in the sales department. And today's video is all about our product, ReptiSafe. So there are several advantages of using the ReptiSafe product. Firstly, when it comes to reptiles in general, you never want to use plain tap water, and there are several reasons for this. Most tap water, number one, is going to contain disinfectants like chlorine or chloramine. Those are the two most commonly types of disinfectant used in municipal water systems. Secondly, they're also in most areas, depending on where you live, especially if you're in a more urban area, they're going to have a lot of heavy metals and things like that that come in naturally in your tap water. So it's not really suitable for use with a reptile, and it's definitely not suitable with use with an amphibian. There are a couple different types of water you could use with a reptile, but generally, most often, for water that's either used for soaking or drinking, we're going to recommend treated tap water, and there are several reasons for this. First off, with ReptiSafe, it's going to remove that chlorine and chloramine out of your tap water, so it's going to make it safe to drink. And secondly, this product also has some other features. So it also has some added electrolytes and ions. What those are going to do, first off, if you have a newly acclimated reptile or a reptile that's partially dehydrated, treating your tap water with ReptiSafe, some of those electrolytes can help to boost their system and get their fluid balance more back in order. And secondly, with some of those added ions and things like that, this product can also be used for aquatic animals. So for fish and turtles, this can also help to preserve slime coat of that animal and just help them feel more comfortable overall. It's very important as well if you have an aquatic turtle or something like that. I definitely recommend this product simply because one of the most common problems you see in captive turtles is eye issues, and a lot of time that's actually irritation from chlorine from using water that hasn't properly been treated. There are several other types of water you would use. One example would be reverse osmosis water. However, with that type, we don't particularly recommend that for drinking. The reason for that is it has zero dissolved solids in it. So basically, in certain animals, and especially for amphibians, this water can just basically continually pass through their membrane on their outer skin because it is so porous. And basically, because there's no mineral content to this water, it basically can continue to flow through them, and that can actually cause renal problems and eventually death. Now, for reverse osmosis water, or also there is another type of water called distilled water. That's water that's been evaporated in a kettle. There's no mineral content to that either. That's good for two things. Both of those products are good for two things. The first would be spraying. So spraying down the enclosure itself. If you're using distilled or reverse osmosis, those are great because obviously there's going to be none of that hard water buildup that we all dread in our enclosures. The second thing would be if you're using some sort of automated misting system, like a monsoon system or a ReptiFogger, the diaphragm in the ReptiFogger can be easily compromised by mineral buildup over a period of time. So I frequently see this if people are using tap water straight with the ReptiFogger. A lot of times it's going to shorten the lifespan of that product. And then secondly, with the monsoon system, if you're using that tap water straight out of the gate, even though there is a pre-filter on the monsoon, it's definitely going to shorten the lifespan of your nozzles. Generally, people will get calcification in their sprayer heads. You have to replace them. It's just a pain nobody really wants to deal with. So one of the most common questions I get in the store is, how much ReptiSafe do I use? So with a bottle like this is a fairly large bottle. I want people to know definitely that this is a super concentrated product. So generally the dilution on this it's actually 1 teaspoon, so like a measuring teaspoon out of your kitchen. It's 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons if you want to make it up in bulk ahead of time. A lot of folks will just make a 5-gallon bucket's worth, and that's like a couple weeks worth. That's a really easy method. The second way you would be if you have a water bowl. It's 1 to 2 drops in the bowl. That's it. You definitely actually don't want to see any coloration or anything like that. A lot of times folks actually put enough of this in to where their water bowl turns blue. That's a super bad thing. That is way too much product. Not only are you wasting product, but actually you're putting way too much of the chemical in there, and basically that's not going to be good for your reptile long term. So one other common myth that we used to hear all the time is people would put a bucket of tap water, they'd pour a bucket of tap water out overnight, and they think that the chlorine would evaporate off. Now, back in the day, that did used to be true to some degree. With the older disinfectant, the straight chlorine, a lot of times that actually would off-gas within the first 24 to 48 hours, especially if it was exposed to UV light like sunlight. But we find nowadays, with most municipal water systems using chloramine, that's actually not likely to evaporate off, so you're definitely going to have to treat that with chemical treatment, and ReptiSafe is definitely a great option for that.